Hello, Twitch. We're
Oh,
back.
hi. Didn't notice you there.
We are
I actually
back.
didn't. Where are we?
It's time to get the second part of the show going. I actually like this version of the music, so we're gonna go with that for the second part.
Wah,
Okay.
wah, 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 wah.
Yeah,
Can,
it's so
can,
great.
can we get the like the music that plays while you're doodling too? Because those are good ones.
We'll probably go end up going through this whole soundtrack. It's pretty short, so I
Yeah.
imagine we
Sweet.
will. Okay, well then, if we don't really have any news, like just talk about what you want to talk about during your change the system section, if there is anything, and yeah, we'll get started.
Guess what I'll be talking about?
Right. All right. Let me just make sure that I've got that ready in my Audacity. Put a note here.
Ugh, the audacity.
Change. All right, let's do it.
163. Not too exciting.
We're gonna go with Steve. He's gonna talk about tier 2. Okay, let's do it.
For $5 a month, we can give you something better than the Lost Woods. We've got what we call the Hidden Feed. That gets you our all-access pass to everything we do behind the scenes and otherwise. Head over to patreon.com/Infendo Radio and pledge your $5 today.
All right, we're back. It is time for change the system. I don't know that I have a whole lot of news this week. We were kind of talking pre-show, or I guess in the break rather, about like the Game Boy Micro that got announced, which is pretty
Game
cool.
Gear.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Very important distinction.
No,
Spread
you're right.
Fake info.
You're very right. I guess that's a Freudian slip, right? Because I don't really care about it because it's not a Game Boy Micro type of thing, you know? But I don't know.
Hey, anything that makes the Game Gear actually pocket size, that is a good thing.
But this looks like almost unusable, though. Did you see it? It looks like
looks.
it's like so tiny.
I mean,
Well, I guess we're talking news.
Okay, why not? I have an actual Game Boy Micro, and it's roughly the same size, and it's perfectly usable. I don't know what they're going to do about the D-pad, because Sega D-pads are notoriously not great.
This
But-
is the perfect song for this conversation.
But anyway, like, as long as we're talking about it anyway, like, I had a Game Gear growing up. I had a Game Gear long before I had a Game Boy. I didn't get a Game Boy until the Pocket came out, which was like high school for me, or middle school, I guess. But yeah, I mean, I loved my Game Gear. There were some great games on the Game Gear. The hardware itself wasn't that fantastic. The screen was blurry, and the battery life was terrible, and the thing was about as pocket size as. I got nothing. I got no comparison. It wasn't pocket size. It was freaking huge. But you know, like, I'll take a look at what the games are on it, and whether the hackers have, you know, opened it up for more games on it, and if I can, you know,
That's
play.
actually a good point, actually. Okay.
Yeah, because there were some pretty good games on that Game Gear, and certainly ones that probably won't come with it. But yeah, I'm gonna keep an eye on this. Yeah, I don't know. I'll keep an eye on this. See if there's a game list that comes out.
Fair enough. Well, okay. Well, I guess that's enough news, unless, Lucas, you have any that you want to tack on. But otherwise, let's talk about the games that we've been playing.
Let's talk about the games we've been playing.
Okay, well,
Yes,
I'm going to go first because I have to talk about Pokemon Go this week. I'm sorry, but I do. I am ashamed. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I guess I do have a little bit of news. You just reminded me. The Pokemon Sword and Shield DLC comes out in exactly 2 weeks.
Oh,
So,
right.
for those
You know,
of
I
you who
still don't
aren't-
have Pokemon Sword and Shield, and I was waiting for the DLC to see if I was actually going to jump on it.
I've been waiting for the DLC to get me back into it because I was like doing some like intense shiny hunting that like just like wore on me, and then I was like, okay, I need to put it down for a little bit. But now this DLC is gonna definitely get me back. I know it.
Well,
will.
for those of you who are not listening to us live, the DLC is supposed to launch on the 17th of June. So get hype. They've announced all the different typings for the legendary birds this generation. They're not what you think. They've also, I think, shown off 2 new Regis, like Registeel, Regice,
Oh,
so,
I thought you meant Reggie Fils-Aimé.
Me too.
I'm like,
well, he's one of the 2 Regis, so. But yeah, no, so it should be interesting. Oh, and they finally announced Galarian Slowbro. He is a psychic poison type, and he wears a cloister on his arm like Samus, and he shoots a
That's
poison.
great.
Yeah, so it should be pretty good.
Nice.
Anyway,
that's
back to Pokemon Go.
Back to Pokemon Go. So yeah, I would a little bit about Pokemon Go because man, they got me to spend $8 today, and let me tell you why. There's this event that just happened to start today. Actually, I think it goes for a week. I could be wrong about that, but it actually goes in line with like the Galarian forms of the Pokemon that are going to be released in Pokemon Go. So basically, you buy the pass, and then you get a whole bunch of extra like tasks type of thing, like in your special tasks to do. And yeah, I was a sucker, and I bought the freaking and I bought it, and yeah, I've been playing Pokemon Go while I've been working, but it's fun. Yeah, I can't say enough that Niantic has done a great job really making Pokemon Go accessible during this pandemic. Actually, I guess here's another news article. Last week, or maybe it wasn't last week, but in a single week, Niantic hit $23 million on Pokemon Go revenue. So, I mean, people are still spending money in Pokemon Go each and every day, each and every week. So good on Niantic for keeping it viable, so. But yeah, that's enough Pokemon Go. I don't know if you guys want to ask me any questions about some of the shinies I've been catching, because I'd be happy to answer them for you. But otherwise...
Eugene, what kind of shinies have you been catching?
Well, Lucas, there was a Sadat event last week, so I caught a crap, like, I'm not kidding, like 30 of them last weekend. And so that was awesome. And I did a little bit trading for some shinies that I didn't have using those ones. So yeah, it's fun, man. I just really love Pokemon Go. To put a cap on Pokemon Go, there was an update that was pushed to the game on the 1st of this month. So 2 days ago on June 1st. And it's speculated that what this update is going to do, because the game was actually down for several hours, a lot of people are speculating that Niantic is creating the connections between this and Pokemon Home. So I'm really excited to transfer, because that's really why I've been catching these Pokemon. I want to get them in Home so that I can, like, share them with, like, you and Steve and, the Infendo listeners, like...
Yeah, for sure, man.
So... anyways, that's Pokemon Go. I still love it. It's probably my game of the year again in 2020. So I'm such a I'm a jerk.
Weak-minded fool.
Yeah. Other than that, been playing actually Beat Saber because I'm getting fat, so I'm trying to lose some weight. And I figured what game better to do that than Beat Saber. So I booted that up a couple of times over the weekend and got my sweat on. That was fun. And then the final game that I've been playing a lot of, but not quite as much of lately, is Breath of the Wild, to just like still trudging along in that. I have a feeling that's going to be my game until Breath of the Wild 2 comes out.
You play Breath of the Wild like Justin plays Red Dead.
Right? Yeah,
Hey.
you're not wrong.
Okay, so I'm going to rewind it a bit because I didn't know we were going to jump off of Beat Saber so quickly. But I noticed something about Beat Saber because we got it in February and I live in upstate New York. So, had to play it in this, tiny house. And then when the weather started finally getting nice, I took because I've got a Quest, took it outside and played a little Beat Saber. And I realized that Beat Saber adjusts to the amount of play space you have. So whereas when I'm playing in the house, I'm usually either playing in stationary mode or in like a small square. When I play outside, I have a space of like 10-foot square.
Right.
And when you've got more space, the game adjusts and you get a hell of a workout. Like I was actually jumping back and forth to get some of the boxes playing it outdoors, and I wish we would get more good weather so I can do that more often. That and what's the other one? Super Hot is great when you have
Oh,
lots of play
right.
space because you can actually move instead of just ducking. um, but yeah. Anyway, I might do a little Beat Saber after the show tonight. Actually, either that or I might finally boot up Ring Fit Adventure because I'm
That's
getting a little soggy around the midsection or something.
Ring Fit is probably really good for that too because you get. I think there's a lot of core workouts in that one. You know.
Is that all you've been playing?
That's all I've
We're
been
talking
playing.
Alrighty then, let's get to the main act. I've been playing a lot this week, which is funny because I've also been working a lot, but somehow I find the time. Beat Grand Theft Auto 5 a couple of days ago, finally.
First time or
No, but my
Oh.
final play count came in at 75 hours, including the time I spent online. It's a long game.
Uh huh.
It's
Okay,
a good
hold
game.
on. I have to ask, which console are you playing this? Is it PC that you're doing
PC.
this? Okay, cool.
Yep.
Cool.
Got to take advantage of that gaming laptop. Yeah,
Right?
no, it's a really fun game. Like I played it a few years ago with my dad, back when he first got it. I hadn't really played it since, but yeah, I love it. Really well written, really well developed characters. Obviously, you have a choice of endings, but if you're a normal human being, you choose the good ending because you want everybody to have a happy ending. But
right.
then
Like I
as
deliberated over that so long. I'm like, which do I want the ending? The good, the quote
Yeah.
unquote good ending, or do I want an interesting ending with But
It's
I
just
decided to go
such
for
a-
the good
it's
ending.
just such a feel-good ending, and it's canon, so But the B ending is so unrealistic, where Franklin kills Michael. Like it doesn't feel like something that would happen. And in the A ending, where they kill Trevor, that one kind of makes sense, but it's so
That one
sad.
makes sense.
But
Yeah.
it's so sad. Like even the instruction at the end, it's put down Trevor. Like it's
Well,
it's
if
just
I'm not
tragic.
if I'm not mistaken, it only gives you the option, and obviously we're in major spoiler territory if you haven't beaten it yet. But
If you haven't beaten it yet, it's your fault. Get over it.
if I'm not mistaken, it gives you the option to either kill Trevor or kill Michael, and doesn't tell you there's a third option unless you do something. Or
Well, your three options are either kill Trevor, kill Michael, or Death Wish, which is like you're all gonna
Right.
die kind of thing. But
which
you
is what I totally expected to happen.
yeah,
Honestly,
but you choose Death Wish because you're not a jerk, and the game ends positively. But hey, this game came out in 2013. Why am I talking about that when I could be talking about Redout, which is the F-Zero clone that I started playing last night?
is that any good?
It's good.
It's been on my wish list for quite a while, but haven't
If
been
you
willing to commit to it.
If you thought F-Zero GX was just a little too easy, you'll
Oh.
really enjoy Redout.
That is a hard pass for me.
It gets difficult, but man, I really like it. I'm really impressed. So I would recommend it. It's on sale right now. It's usually $40. It's $20 on the eShop right now. So if you're looking for a good F-Zero clone, get that. I also picked up, but have not started playing yet, the first indie game that I can think of that I am genuinely excited for. Like I'm getting that.
Oh, is it
excited.
out already?
Yeah,
Oh
excited
no,
in the
I'm gonna have to download
excited in the
it.
pit of my stomach feeling for this, which is Bug Fables, which is the new Paper Mario that, in my opinion, will end up being better than the new Paper Mario. The last thing I was on the fence about, as I'm sure a lot of you might have been, is the length. So I looked up some reviews. Not only does the game have a perfect 10 out of 10 on Steam, but people are saying on average it takes them about 25 hours to beat just the core story. With side quests and optional bosses and stuff, that time can go up to about 40 hours of game time. So this is not an indie game length game. This is a Paper Mario game. So I'm really excited to see how it is. But I know it's going to be like a weekend game for me. It's not something I want to start right after work on a Wednesday night.
Right.
I want to sit down and really dive into it. But I am child excited for this game. I've been wanting a game like this for so long, so I have high hopes and high expectations.
Yeah,
no, I'm
that's
excited
been
for
on
it
my
too.
radar for a little while. And I want to try it, but like you said, like it's a game that's an investment, and I already have Paper Mario on my Wii U that I haven't even started yet. So, like, if I'm going to dive into a Paper Mario game that isn't Origami King, it'll probably be the original, just because
Oh, okay. I
I
thought you were gonna
have.
say. I thought you were gonna say Color Splash, and I was gonna be like, bro, skip that game.
No. I have the N64 game on Virtual Console, so and I haven't booted it up yet because I'm like, oh, it's like a 20-30 hour game, and I just don't
Right.
have the 20-30 hours when I'm already spending 200 hours on Animal Crossing and 100 hours on Red Dead, and another 100 and whatever hours on Grand Theft Auto, and
And
Sure.
here's the thing
200
about
on Breath of the Wild.
all of this conversation that I want you guys who are listening to us to know. I respect the fact that there are people out there, mostly young children, but people out there who either grew up or started playing Sticker Star and Color Splash and will play Origami King, and who really like those kinds of Paper Mario games. And it is
Jury's out on Origami King. It
the
looks like it might be returning to the good style.
I
But
don't expect anything from it, but you are
Fair.
allowed to like that game. It is just like this is a parallel to Breath of the Wild for me. There's a game that I don't like that you do like, and it's fine that you like it. But for me, the Paper Mario series has kind of tapered off and lost itself after Super Paper Mario, which is why I'm really excited to see how close this indie game gets to recreating that experience. But again, like when I say that they're bad and I say that they're crap or whatever, I'm being hyperbolic. Like, just know that, because you're allowed to like what you like. I played Sticker Star. I thought it was pretty average, pretty mediocre, but
I mean, let's just say, like, even if a game is objectively bad, which is a thing, you're still
yeah.
allowed to like it. Like,
Oh, yeah,
I
exactly.
like some
And these games-
objectively bad games.
And these games are not objectively bad. These games have gotten 7 out of 10s across the board. They're well made, but they're not what I want from this series, And
Right.
that
Yeah.
has shaped my I mean, we're all victims of our own experiences, right? And my experience of Paper Mario is going to be very different than somebody who grew up with Sticker Star, right? So, where one person sees a problem, another person doesn't, and that's just how gaming is. So if at any point during the Origami King discussion that's sure to follow in the next few weeks, we offend you, I am sorry. I don't mean to. It's just my hot take on this, and someday
far as-
you'll have a podcast and you can have a hot take.
As far as Origami King is concerned, it looks like a step in the right direction. I'm going to wait for reviews and then possibly wait for a sale.
Yeah.
But
I'm just seeing all the same warning signs, from the stuff I've seen in the footage and everything. It looks like it's playing it safe again, and it looks like it's doing that kind of like dumbed down formula of let's appeal to the widest audience possible, which
Totally.
has been the Sticker Star formula and beyond. But in their defense, Color Splash was considered an improvement over Sticker Star. I'm sure Origami King will be considered an improvement over Color Splash, but I still see them as being part of the same universe where the paper is more important than the Mario, Whereas with the first 3 games, I think
the Mario is more important than an original story. And that's kind of the thing that turned me off is that, the elimination of all the colorful, unique characters.
Yeah, they had built up a world with 1,000 Year Door and Super Paper Mario specifically, and a little bit the original, that they then kind of abandoned for the sake of incorporating traditional Mario elements in Sticker Star and beyond. But anyway, we're speculating about a game that's not even out yet. When one of us picks it up at some point, somebody can talk about it.
I'm
honestly,
sure one of us will end up picking it up out of the 4 of us.
Oh, I'm sure it won't be long. But yeah, that's kind of that. I haven't really been playing that much else. In fact, I can't really think of anything else I've been playing that's all that important. I know if Steve were here tonight, he'd be talking about Minecraft Dungeons, which he's been playing. Very much tempting me to give that game a try. Looks like cute Diablo, but we'll see where the dice land on that. But yeah, that's been my life.
So in the 4 or 5 minutes while you were talking about that, I bought Bug Fables.
Nice. See, I've already got it downloaded and ready to go, man. So I'll probably be starting it this
How
weekend.
much is it? Oh, it's $25.
$25, yeah.
I'll
I
keep
had
that
I had
on my wish
1,000
list.
gold coins, so it kind of
$15.
1,000?
Yeah.
That's cute. I've got like 6,000.
That feels like a symptom of a bigger problem, but that's not
Well-
what we're here to discuss.
Well, you know, this is the type of thing I save them for. When there's a game that I'm not quite ready to throw my money at, but I want anyway.
I feel like to a bigger degree, I realize we have to move on here, but I feel like to a weird like angle, in the last year or so, I have really come to understand that a lot of the devs that used to work at Nintendo that I grew up idolizing have moved on and passed the torch to a younger generation of devs, probably Justin's age, about like a generation before me kind of thing. And just in general, I mean, they still make some good games, but in general, they're missing something that I look for in games. And I'm kind of starting to realize that there might be some indies out there like Red Out and Bug Fables. You know, jury's still out. I still have to play Bug Fables, but I might be able to get some of those game design vibes that I'm looking for from an indie company or a smaller company that's not Nintendo. I think for the first time in my life, I'm
about to cry.
Yeah, for the first time in my life, I kind of came to this realization a few weeks ago. I'm not a diehard Nintendo fanboy. Like, I will still own Nintendo systems. Nintendo's got all the games I want, but they've lost a step for me. And
Yeah.
I think it's kind of up to our generation, as it were, to kind of carry the torch of what, in my opinion, the real like smart devs, the good guys from my childhood, were really good at. And I'm hoping that, you know, in the next 10 years, we make some really cool games and we kind of bring back the fun. But again, it's all subjective, right? I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who love everything Nintendo's been doing, but I don't really have a game on the Switch that I can say, this is, you know, hands down, this is the game you got to own kind of thing. Like Pokemon Sword and Shield is probably the closest thing to that, but, you know, nothing.
No, I totally feel that, and I know you said we got to move on, but one more quick anecdote, and then I'll toss it over to Justin so we can listen to the games he's been playing. I kind of felt that way about Nintendo in the Wii era. I think I might have talked about that on the podcast before, you know?
I could see it. That was a big transitional period. I was still young enough, I think, to absorb it, but...
Sure.
But yeah, no, I can understand that. Because, like, I was still in high school. I was in high school when Smash came out. I graduated high school in 2009, you know?
Right.
So I lived during the Wii era very much. But yeah, I could see that because it was a big change.
Yeah.
And I said this, I think, in our Discord, that I feel like certain members of Nintendo's game design staff, calling him out, Miyamoto, the king of video games, is kind of being that stick in the mud who's like, nope, this is the way I've always made games. This is the way you're going to make games. This is the way Nintendo makes games and makes games. And it's all right, well, and that's great for your games, Miyamoto, but let other people make their games their way, because that's how you end up with Splatoon.
And I have to defend my hero a little bit here, because I've been doing a lot of research on Paper Mario for a video I want to come out with on my own channel. And he was the one that kind of killed Sticker Star by telling the devs that they needed to stick to tradition instead of branching out. They needed to, but at the same time telling them they needed to try different things because Sticker Star originally felt too much like the Thousand Year Door. But by that same standard, the Sticker Star team was almost entirely populated with new developers who had like never worked on a professional title before.
And that's another thing we gotta consider is
the blame lies definitely a little bit with Miyamoto on that, but I can't. I mean, he's my idol, and even if that means that I'm a little blind to it, like I love the guy too much to throw all the shade at him. I think part of it is just that there's new blood in Nintendo, you know. And
that's like we're all
stuff.
Everybody's all excited. Oh, Retro Studios is back making Metroid Prime 4, but none of the people who worked on Metroid Prime, 1, 2, and 3 are there.
Well, it's kind of like Rare, the name
you're
Rare
slapping a label on it. Yeah.
Rare has no meaning anymore because everyone that worked at Rare is now either retired or
at Playtonic.
Playtonic.
Or whatever Free Radical became, or whatever.
Yeah,
there was like a third studio, I think, that sprung up out of there. But yeah, like we're, let's face it, we're old.
Yeah.
like like we're still living in the Luke Skywalker, maybe in Lucas's case Anakin Skywalker generation, and gaming is in the Rey and Finn generation. Like
Oh
we're
boy, we're going generational in Star Wars terms. So
It's okay, Eugene. You're in the Anakin one with me. Don't worry.
well, I definitely am, because the remasters came out when I was a kid, type of thing. That's what I remember in the theater. But
All right,
to put 1 second to put a pin on
I
this.
derailed
though,
this. I'm sorry.
To put a pin on this, because I have one final thought on this.
Boy, this really changed into a philosophical thing. Go
Sure.
ahead.
Well, the one good thing, the one positive, I guess, I see out of this, like, your, I guess, negativity, as it were, towards Nintendo has seen maybe a positive increase towards indies, like you don't seem to have that same stigma finding these two games type of deal,
Well, and
we see these peaks and valleys in a lot of industries. Like, the 80s were very much about the manufactured studio music, and then the 90s we saw an increase in indie bands getting popular, which led to the boy bands and the pop music coming back in the 2000s. Now we're starting to see indies come back. Like every entertainment medium seems to go through this, where like an indie will come up with some brilliant ideas, and then the corporations will latch onto it and drive it into the ground, so the indies have to reinvent it.
Well, let me address your point real quick, Eugene, and then we got to go to commercial.
Yeah,
but yeah, no, I've never been a big indie guy, and I've always felt like the indie games just don't bring to the table the same quality that I've expected from a Nintendo type company. Like Nintendo delivers quality, and I respect game developers that bring that same level of quality. But I also know that deep in my deepest, darkest heart, there is a jealousy that lies there, because all of this time I would watch people making the kind of content that I wanted to be making. Now, I don't know if my game is going to turn out good or not. God, I hope it will. It's a passion project and I really care about it. But I've been working so hard on my game this last year that I'm more self-assured, as it were, I guess. And I've come to see these people more as peers than as rivals, So that kind of pettiness about indie games has kind of dissolved a little bit for me, to the point where this Bug Fables game is the first indie game that, like I said, I'm physically excited for. Like, I have a knot in my stomach when I think about playing this game because I'm so excited to play this game. And that's a feeling that I rarely get for indie
Sure.
game. So I'm excited to see how it goes, and yeah, maybe this is a little personal growth for me, and maybe I'll finally be able to.
Yeah,
and we'll
see, right?
Positive, Well, I think my generation is finally kind of coming into the spotlight, right? So the 30-something-year-olds have had their turn, and they've defined indie games for a while. And now it's time for the 20-somethings to get out there and become professional developers. And this is my generation. I want to be a part of that generation of game developers. So maybe I'm just embracing my culture, But
yeah. All right, Justin, you're up. Let's talk about the games you've been playing, because like Lucas said, it's almost time for a commercial break.
Right. Well, I want to talk about the physical excitements that are causing my personal growth. Actually, it's nothing new, so mine should be pretty quick, because I transitioned from Red Dead Redemption 2 into Red Dead Redemption 1, and the transition is not as smooth as I thought it would be.
I was gonna ask.
So here's the thing. I still stand by that games of last generation are every bit as good now as they were then. Yeah, games look prettier and there's certainly more you can do with them, but as a whole, gaming, corporate gaming, is to make the distinction now that we have, kind of reached its apex around 2005 to 2010, in that realm where this is what games are, and they haven't changed a whole lot other than incrementally. So Red Dead Redemption 1 is very much in that same realm, but you can see the jank.
Sure.
When you play Red Dead Redemption 2, it looks like a movie with live actors. to the greatest extent a video game can.
It looks like what you thought Red Dead Redemption looked like 5 years ago in your
Right.
mind.
Well, and here's the thing that really like obviously like the graphical fidelity isn't quite there, the lighting isn't quite as realistic, the textures aren't quite as detailed, and I was expecting that. But what really like caught me off guard was how janky the animations are. Now, when you're in a cutscene, it's all mocapped, so everything looks just as good as like even the graphic fidelity isn't there, but the motions and facial animations, everything looks about as good as Red Dead Redemption 2. When you're in the actual gameplay, it's clear that they didn't mocap character animations. It's still got some of that, stiff, like the stiff motion. Like when John Marston is running, like you can tell this is a hand animated character, not a motion captured person. And there are certain things that I miss, like, I got used to every time I walked by somebody in Red Dead Redemption 2 holding the left trigger and hitting the button to say hello to everybody.
Yeah.
The first time I did that, I pointed a gun at somebody. I'm like, that is not what I wanted to do. So I have to relearn the control scheme.
Sure.
Story-wise, it's just as good as I remember, and I'm going to love playing through it again. I'm discovering things in the world that, like, I'll play. This is relaxing. I'll play about an hour and a half of Red Dead Redemption 1 and then think, all right, now that I've unlocked this area in Red Dead Redemption 2, I'm going to go back to it in Red Dead Redemption 2 and see what it looks like in that game.
Right.
So it's kind of got this fascinating like back and forth where I'm like, okay, I forgot that this place exists. I wonder what it looks like, in the other one. So Red Dead Redemption 1 and
Beat Saber, because we're fat.
yeah, I got to play some Beat Saber, and Animal Crossing New Horizons are pretty much what's been on my menu. I don't know if I said this. I rolled credits on New Horizons sometime last week. So now I've got the terraforming. So I've been doing a little bit of remodeling.
Is that how
my
you
island.
get that? I didn't know that was a thing until
You gotta do the KK concert and then it'll unlock.
Right.
Yeah, because sorry, Justin, real quick. I saw like just somebody's like I was scrolling through Facebook or something. And I saw somebody like posted a GIF of like terraforming. And it's like, what is that? I want that for my island. That's gonna be what's gonna get me back into my island. So I guess I better start getting 5 stars or whatever.
Guys, I haven't
3
played...
stars, so it's not. Just get a lot of villagers and do a lot of decorating, and that should get you up to 3 stars pretty quickly.
I haven't played in like 4 weeks, and it makes me sad. But it's just I want to go to New Leaf, Like when I play Animal Crossing again, it's gonna be New Leaf. But God,
I do miss some of the. After you pointed it out, I realized there were certain elements to New Leaf.
Sorry, it's what I do.
Yeah, there's certain things that I miss in New Horizons, but I'm still like, let me go check my hour count here because I've already surpassed Breath of the Wild. I think I'm probably at about the 150 hour mark, maybe even more than that.
I'm a little upset because I've been waiting for this game. Like, this was my E3 prediction, like, every year since I started on Infendo. Like, I've been wanting this game for years, and it's here, and I put a lot of time into it, but unlike other Animal Crossings, it's become the kind of game that I played for a long time, and then it was just over,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's where I'm at with it, so I'm almost... I guess almost forcing myself to go back, but I think I am going to go back because I
have 190 hours in Animal Crossing New Horizons.
Oh, sweetie, that's cute, but hang on.
I don't put 200 hours into video games,
Sweet.
And the only one I have is Breath of the Wild. So for me to break that record in a couple of months...
Sweet baby boy, I have 210 hours in Animal Crossing and 365 in Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Oh, I have no idea how many I have in New Leaf. It's probably twice that, but
I don't even want to ask what your Breath of the Wild count is because I know it's probably
actually
mine?
my Breath of Justin's or mine?
Yours.
My Breath of the Wild count actually isn't that high. It's right around 360.
Oh,
But I
it
have
took you that long to get.
But
Okay.
oh yeah, well, and I also played the game like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, if you combine my Wii U playthrough and my Switch playthrough, I'm probably around there.
I also have 40 hours on my Japanese account, so Breath of the Wild still shows up when I sort by playtime as the top game on that list. But I have to assume eventually either Smash Bros. Or Animal Crossing will eke it
Will
out if I can get
overtake
back
it,
into
yeah.
Animal Crossing.
Sure. So, okay. Well, Justin, did you have any other games that you were dying to talk about, or you said that was pretty much it, right?
Yeah, that was pretty much it. Like every time I decide I'm gonna play something new, I end up going back to those two standbys. I got a new pair of earphones that might make certain games more exciting, but I'll talk about that next week when I've had some more time with them.
Fair. All right. Well, then I guess that means we're going to take a little break. We'll be back on the other side with a mini game before answering your question block questions.